people to work with guests on the spectrum. So that's where I got my certification from. But more importantly, I am also the mom of a child on the spectrum myself. My oldest son, Tristan, is 14 years old. He is autistic, and then I have a 10-year-old as well who is neurotypical. And we have been traveling with Tristan for 12 years now. And I kind of started sharing my journey on social media about how we travel with him. And because of that, a travel agency reached out to me and they were like, hey, did you know that like you could actually like do this as your job? And I was like, no, I've never even thought about doing it as my job. And honestly, I don't know if I can handle that kind of pressure. But it ended up turning into something absolutely magical and amazing over these last 4 years. And I have sent close to 1,000 autism families on vacations, mainly to theme parks around the US and to all-inclusives in the Caribbean. And it is just flourished into this amazing opportunity for families like ours. So I have taken all of my knowledge and all of my resources, and I just want to give it to you, because if you have never been on a vacation with your child, you are probably terrified. And I was too. And there are so many unknowns, right? Biggest fears: flying. Are they gonna have my child safe food? Looks from other people. What are we gonna do if they have a meltdown in public? All of those things make you fearful of travel. It's totally natural. It's going to happen. But hopefully, with some hope and confidence and learning about these resources and accommodations, you will feel better about trying. And what I'm going to talk to you today is about certain destinations around the US and in the Caribbean, and giving you some resources about flying. But just know that this is what I have learned over 12 years. It's taken me 12 years to learn all of this. I'm not giving you this information and telling you, oh, you've never been on a vacation with your child, take these resources and accommodations and book a trip to Europe. That's not realistic, right? Start small. My biggest advice to you is to start small. If you've never done it before, find out what your child's special interest in. Do they like water? Do they like pools? Do they like water parks? Find somewhere close by and try that first and see how you do. Just a little overnight trip, somewhere close to home. That way you can come home to their safe space. Right? And you didn't just spend thousands of dollars to figure out, well, this is not going to work. So this is my family. That's my husband, Chris. He is a Marine, no longer active duty. I'm just going to say thank God. That is my son, Tristan, and my newest son, Ethan. And we live in Orlando. I'm from California. My husband ended up getting a great job in Orlando, and so we picked up our family and we moved there about 6 years ago, completely blind, no family, no friends, and so that was really hard. But our son Tristan is how and why I decided to become a professional. I didn't realize that a lot of families did not know about the resources and accommodations out there for them to feel confident about traveling. So my mission is super simple. It's to make magic accessible for all. And I know a lot of people think of magic and they think of Disney immediately. And while yes, I'm just going to say Disney is my favorite. I used to be a cast member. I'm not gonna lie. The magic is also in the everyday, right? There are so many things that are not magical about autism, but there are also so many things that are. And taking those and implementing them into your travel is going to be magical for your family. Okay, we're going to go over all of that. So, getting into the traveling headspace. Did you know that 87% of parents surveyed within the IBCCES do not currently take family vacations? And 93% of those families said that they would be willing to take those vacations if they knew about resources and accommodations available to them. Okay, what I have to say with that is it's so true. We want all of these businesses and these brands to be accommodating to us. However, how are they going to know how they can accommodate us if we don't expose our children to them, right? I get interviewed all the time on podcasts, and something that has just kind of stayed with me and that I talk about all the time, and it's my last closing statement, and it's always, it's so important for us to expose our children to the world, but it's more important for us to expose the world to our children, because that is how we get inclusion. That is how we show them how they can accommodate us. Does it suck to be the guinea pig? Yes, it does. But if we can reach out to them and tell them, I would love to come to your destination, this is how, you can help me. Or I would love to go here, but you lack this, or I don't see this on your website. If you give them opportunities and if you go to these places, it will help. And like I said before, the best thing you can do is start small. So I did a little poll on the app. So raise your hand if you did that poll on the app. Couple? Wow, that's crazy because there was a lot of people who answered it. So I asked if you had ever flown with your child on the spectrum. So raise your hand if you have ever flown with your child on the spectrum. Awesome. Okay. Raise your hand if you utilized any accommodations or resources while flying with your child on the spectrum. One person. Okay. Did you, how far in advance did you know about them? Immediately? Did you have to research it?
Yeah, we use TSA cares.
Okay.
Flow.
Okay.
In this case, they asked me information.
Good.
Yeah.
Was that recent?
It was right before he got diagnosed with actual patients.
Okay.
So it was almost 2, I believe.
Okay.
He had over vacation in Mexico, but it was, they actually asked
Good.
if
We want that.
any food restrictions or something yet.
Right.
Yeah,
Good.
they asked.
We want them to ask, right? We don't want to always have to say it. We want it to be on that checkbox. Do you need a special service? Do you need an accommodation? So while flying with your child on the spectrum, there are resources and accommodations available to you. TSA Cares is a huge one. You can go to tsacares.gov and you can see, but basically what that is it's a program with TSA officers that are trained to work with guests on the spectrum or guests with intellectual disabilities. And you will notice them around the airport because they wear that special sunflower lanyard. Raise your hand if you know about the sunflower lanyard. Okay, I brought one. I brought Tristan's so I can show you. This is the hidden disability sunflower lanyard, and if you would like, I'll pass it around the room so you can take a peek at it because you can put some information on the back as well. So the HD sunflower lanyard was started in Europe. And a company decided to create a hidden disability lanyard for traveling. That way they could train airport staff and different destinations to recognize this lanyard as autism does not have one look. You cannot tell, right? And so if somebody is wearing this lanyard, then it lets airport staff or the destination staff know that you are traveling with someone who might need extra time, who might need accommodations, who might need understanding. And so this program started in Europe not that long ago, but honestly it's becoming world renowned now. And even at MCO in Orlando, the sunflower lanyard is actually the logo of our disability line now. And if you go to the HD sunflower lanyard website, there's different countries that pop up, so make sure you're under US. You can get it, I think you just have to pay for shipping now, but You can also go to your local airport and see if they partner with the HT Sunflower Lanyard, because now guest services are giving these out for free. And on the back, it asks for the first name, the first guardian's name, second guardian's name, and then any special assistant needs. So what my clients have been doing is, so like as you can see, I wrote with marker, like it doesn't give you a lot of space if you want to write down things, especially if you have an eloper. So one of my clients did this like a year ago, and I thought it was genius. Now I'm sharing it with all my clients. You know, you can get that paper at like TJ Maxx that has the little stickers, the little sticker squares, and you can put it in your printer and you can print whatever information you want on the sticker square. And so they are putting into like, going into like Word documents and writing, you know, my child is non-speaking or non-verbal, my child has autism, my child has these food allergies, whatever you want it to say, and then printing it and then sticking it on the back of this. That way you can put more information rather than just contact information, right? So this is definitely something, if you guys want to pass it around so you can check it out. So that is something that is super helpful. I kind of went on a tangent with that, but TSA Cares, you will see the officers wearing those lanyards, and those are the officers, the TSA officers that are trained to work with guests on the spectrum. And so when you sign up for TSA Cares, you can do it online or you can do it over the phone. Depending on the airport that you are going to depends on how the staff handles TSA Cares. Sometimes they will call you before you arrive at the airport, and they will meet you outside at your gate. And they, well, not at the gate, but at your terminal, and they will walk you through security. You will go through another line, and they will walk you through every single thing that you are going to do in a more relaxed and quieter manner. There is no pushing and shoving. There is no put your shoes in the bucket, take out your laptop, throw it in the box. It is so calm that, like, I get nervous. As a parent, we get nervous, right, for our children, because we're like on standby, right? Like it's about to go down, fight or flight mode any minute now. And the TSA officers literally calm you down, like so you can have a peaceful transition as well. Because I don't know about you guys, but those lines, even for me coming here from Orlando, I was like, I don't want to go to TSA. It's awful, it's terrifying. Imagine how our kids feel, okay? So they will literally meet you outside, and they will walk you through, and they will walk you through security in a environment that is more quiet and accommodating to you and your family. And if you want, they can even go to the gate with you. They can walk you to the gate if you feel like you need that assistance. Something else that you can do is the DPNA code or the airline code, which is an SSR, a special service request. So now these are starting to post up on your tickets when you book an airline flight, depending on the airline. And it'll say SSR request, which is a special service request. So when you check mark this box, it alerts the airline that you are in need of assistance, whether that's pre-boarding before everyone else, or honestly, for my son Tristan, he actually does a lot better when we're the very last ones to board, because the longer I have to have him sit on that plane, the better. So we are the very last ones to get on board, but that just alerts them that you might need more time, that you might need more understanding. And it also gives the staff an opportunity to kind of reach out to you and say, hey, I'm here, and if you need anything, let us know, okay? And that is honestly the best thing. That's what we want, right? We want people to be understanding. Yes.
I just had a question. Do the airline personnel recognize the sunflower lanyard, or is it just?
So more and more are now. It depends on the airline, obviously. But honestly, it started in Europe, and now it is just like, it is spreading like wildfire. If everyone's seen it, I'll just take it back.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. You're fine.
Once you get out of the US, most countries.
Well, Europe is starting to recognize this. Jamaica has recognized it. The Bahamas has recognized it.
Brazil.
I haven't been to Brazil, so I'm not sure. But you can always look at the airports in Brazil, and you can look up and see if there is, the accommodations that they have at their airport, and their guest relations will have a list of accommodations as well on their website. It might say HT Sunflower, but also if you go to the HT Sunflower website, if Brazil is an option on there, then obviously they're accredited with the Sunflower Lanyard, which is really cool. The Wings for Autism. So this is a really, really cool program, and I have some really exciting news to share with you. The ARC, which is a foundation that helps special needs families, actually has a program called Wings for All, and they are coming back to the Charlotte Douglas Airport. I believe it's May 3rd, and my last slide is going to have a QR code for you to sign up if you would like. And it's a free program to families like ours, and you get to go through the whole boarding process. You get to go through security. It's such a great opportunity for your child to learn what that experience is like, but also for you to learn how your child handles that experience. And it's with a bunch of staff members that are trained to work with guests on the spectrum, the ones that put on this program. Now, what's really great too is that the airport personnel is going to be there to learn from you guys as well, to see how they can accommodate us better. And that is what we want, right? So the last slide of my presentation will have a QR code for you, and you can sign up for that. The DPNA code, which is pretty much the same as the SSR, that stands for Disabled Passenger Needing Assistance. I will say, from what I have experienced personally and professionally with my clients, I am seeing that it is offered more or called the SSR request more than it is the DPNA code. It seems like the DPNA code is used more in Europe, just to give you a heads up. Certified autism centers are amazing resources to utilize. Like we were talking about in the main room, Myrtle Beach is an advanced certified autism center. So that's a great place to start. It's not too far away. Another great certified autism center, if once you decide to travel a little bit further, would be Beaches Resorts. Have you guys ever heard of Sandals? Yeah. So Sandals has a partner, a sister destination called Beaches. Beaches is for families, while Sandals is for adults only. All three Beaches locations, there's three, there's Turks and Caicos, there is Beaches Negril, and then there is Beaches Ocho Rios. All three are advanced certified autism centers with the IBCCES. Now with the IBCCES, only 80% of the staff has to be trained to work with guests on the spectrum, but Beaches, 100% of their staff is trained to work with guests on the spectrum. They're fantastic. I have been to 2 locations. I was just at Turks and Caicos last month. Turks and Caicos is actually hosting an Autism Inclusion Week. This year, I have 17 different families going. I am going with my family as well. And it is going to be an event for families like ours with speakers and opportunities to teach. Last year, we had an Olympic swimmer teach kids, a Special Olympic swimmer teach kiddos on the spectrum how to swim. And, we had a child who did not like getting his face wet at all. He was really, really nervous about it. And then by the end of the week, he was fully in the water, he was splashing around, having a good time. There was not a dry eye on that beach. But there are so many different resources and destinations that you can go to that do support families like ours. And I'm not saying you gotta go to Beaches now, because that's a far airplane ride. Don't do that to me. But at least you know that it's there when you're ready, okay? Don't be scared, because it's there when you're ready. Culture City is a fantastic website to check out every once in a while, because they have so many different resources throughout the country. They go to different movie theaters, they go to different concerts, and they actually they're starting to work with cruise lines now to provide sensory bags for children that need it on cruise lines as well. Now, more than ever, we are starting to see sensory rooms put in at airports, which is really fantastic. And then the National Autism Association also has a big red safety box. So if you haven't heard of that, it's fantastic. You just have to pay for shipping, and it has a bunch of resources inside of it for you, specifically for children that might be low. So it has stop signs in it, it has the doorbells, it has a referral code in it for Angel Sense, the Angel Sense tracker. So definitely check into the big red safety box, especially if you were worried about your water on vacation or even at home. It is a free resource to you, and it is super helpful. These are some ways that we like to help Tristan travel. Like I said, this is 12 years in the making, and what worked a month ago when we went on our Disney cruise might not work in July when we go to Hawaii. And let me just tell you, even though there are so many resources and accommodations out there for you, I'm not going to tell you that it's not scary. It's so scary. We've traveled with him so many times, and I'm still terrified. In July, we were flying from Florida to Hawaii. That is an 11-hour flight. That is going to be his longest flight ever. We are going to have a layover. It's scary, and I'm not going to tell you that it's not, but it is doable, and you can do it, and you deserve to take vacations, and your children deserve to do whatever it is that you guys want to do together as a family. So this is how we help Tristan. He loves YouTube videos. Like, he has to watch the destination over and over and over again. He needs to know where all the bathrooms are. He needs to know where the water fountains are. He needs to know everything about that destination before we get there. And let me tell you, he's a better planning guy than I am, because then when we get there, his brother's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And Tristan's like, I saw a YouTube video on this. It's right over here. And those YouTube videos are so helpful, because then they can have an idea of not only what it looks like, but also what it sounds like. Sensory guides. So a lot of those certified autism centers will have sensory guides to their location. That's how they became, that's part of the process of them becoming a certified autism center, is that they have to provide you with these sensory guides. A lot of theme parks have these as well, so definitely check the websites of the destination that you're going to, because more than likely they will have a sensory guide for you. We get him a map. Anywhere he wants to go, we have to have a map with him. Of course, fidgets, we take those to the grocery store, in the car. I mean, whatever you use at home to help your child regulate, you have to take that on vacation with you. That is so important. Do not try to introduce new things to them. Take what is comforting to them that you already know. If it's that stuffed animal, if it's that blinky, if it's that fidget, bring it with you. Seriously. Noise canceling headphones, that's kind of a given. Make sure I have one in my purse. Making sure that he's a part of the planning. That's huge, because then when they're a part of the planning, they're more excited to do it, and they're more apt to maybe going through a transition that they're scared about, because they know that what they were most excited about is coming after that transition. So we always make sure that Tristan is a part of the planning. He's really scared to go on that airplane for a really long time, but he knows that when we get to Hawaii, we're gonna do an excursion that's gonna take us around to see the filming locations of Jurassic Park. And so he's like, listen, if I gotta see that, then I gotta go on this 11-hour airplane ride. But because he helped plan that excursion, my husband, me, and my other son, we do it because it's what Tristan wants to do. Could we go without it? Absolutely. But because we let Tristan be a part of that planning, it's more exciting for us too, because we're like, this is what he wants to do, and he's gonna conquer one of his fears because he gets to do something that he's excited about. Social stories, huge. I don't think there's a transition in my life that doesn't have a social story. We front load Tristan about everything, and that is going to be huge in your traveling traveling days as well. So create social stories for my clients. I specifically have social stories that I have created. Before I became a certified autism trauma professional, I actually was a special education teacher. So not only do I have a son on the spectrum, but then I was also teaching children on the spectrum with Down syndrome. And social stories is huge in our classrooms. And so I took my knowledge of that and turned it into social stories for traveling, and that has been huge. Going over safe foods, so when you pack for that airplane ride, put those safe foods in your backpack. Make sure your child has those crackers. Make sure your child has the string cheese or whatever it is that you know is their safe food. And make sure that you pack it. You can also, most of the time, depending on where you're going, you can take that with you too. Theme parks, you can take those foods into the theme parks with you too. Don't be afraid of bringing their safe foods with them, but also look into restaurants in your surrounding and see what the menus look like so you know where to go and eat before you get there. Pre-plan. Look at those menus and see if your child is only going to eat chicken nuggets and french fries, then wherever I'm going needs to have chicken nuggets and french fries, and you want to make sure that you look into that before you go. Locating quiet spaces, that's where those YouTube videos are also going to come in handy, because a lot of the time when you're looking up those YouTube videos, surprisingly, they will go over the destination and they'll say this is a really good quiet area if you need to take a break. Pretty much every YouTube video we have ever seen, somebody has mentioned that. So definitely look into quiet spaces. And then like I mentioned before with the fidgets, whatever comforting item your child has, make sure that you're bringing that on vacation with you. This is just kind of an idea of social stories for Disney in particular. This is some of the visual guides that mine are a little bit different. So I have a client that, so stinking sweet. I created a visual guide for each park, and now I get to give that to all of my clients, but this particular client was the first one I had done it for. And so I created these little pictures with Velcro on the back, and it was all on one paper, and then he could take the Velcro off and he could tell his parents what he wanted to do first, what he wanted to do next, and then what he wanted to do then. I always recommend when you're doing these visual guides, don't have last here. Because you know our kiddos, they're gonna think that's the last thing that they're doing. And they think they're gonna go back to the hotel and hit the pool. So don't make last be the last thing. Make sure it's then. You have first, next, then, okay? Certified Autism Center, we kind of went over that. Beaches is a great resource for that. Legoland is now a certified autism center. Discovery Cove, oh, if you have a water sensory seeker, Discovery Cove is amazing. It is so much fun. It's in Orlando. It's a day resort, like an all-inclusive day resort. So it's so fun. It is a place where you can go swimming, you can go swim with dolphins, you can snorkel with like stingrays and fish, but they also have like no entry pools with the sand everywhere, and you can just lounge, and there's lazy rivers and there's sand if they like sand and building sand castles. All of their food and drinks are included, so if you want to try out an all-inclusive but you don't want to fly like a crazy amount of time, Discovery Cove is a really fun place to try that out. I think we might be able to have a few questions and answers, but first, so you can contact me anytime if you would like. My website is the best place to do that, specialkindofmagic.com. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I do have an Instagram, and that is honestly where I share a lot of my resources and stuff that I find. Whenever a new destination comes out with something, I'm posting about it and just trying to share it. So you can find me there if you have any questions or anything like that. And then,
No, please tell me no.
I know that's not the last slide. If you go into, I was told it got updated. If you go into the WOPA app and you go under my session, at the bottom it says Understanding Traveling with Autism. It's a PDF of all of my slides. And the very last slide is the Wings for Autism. And it has that QR code there for you to sign up. I apologize that I didn't have to. I'm sorry?
It's full.
Okay, so there's a wait list though, yes?
It doesn't show, it said full.
Okay. Well, there is an email address at the bottom for Kayla Robbins. So I was told that if they get filled up, then if you filled out the information, you would automatically get placed on the wait list. So if that is not popping up for you, then you can send, and I am going to be emailing her as well, Kayla Robbins. It's on that flyer. And you can request that another one be scheduled for the Charlotte Douglas Airport, right? Because if there's that many people that want to go, and if they're willing to do a wait list, then obviously there's enough people that want a second event. If you're not close to the Charlotte Airport, and maybe you drove in for this event or you flew in for this event, the ARC, which is attached to this Wings for All Day or the original foundation, you can go to their website and you can find the chapter for whichever location that you live closer to, and you can request it at an airport near you as well. Yes,
Specific question about Disney.
sure.
We're going in May.
Awesome.
We know about the DAS,
The Disability Access Service.
and we've heard, I guess, that they that sounds more strict.
Yeah,
And so just curious your understanding of that, and we've got our,
this is where I live.
it's coming up.
Just kidding.
Yeah, we haven't visited the process yet. I mean, there's a certain date where we can start that, and that's coming
Yeah.
up in a few weeks or something. But yeah, what is that like now?
Yeah, so you can actually do it now, depending on what day are you guys leaving?
Middle of May 16th.
Okay, so you can do it now, because they recently changed it from up to 30 days before arrival to 60 days before
Okay,
arrival.
awesome, yeah.
Yeah, so you can do that process now. So basically what happened is that the service, the accommodation had more than quadrupled in 3 years. And so it was being misused. And so what they did was they made it a little bit more difficult to get, unfortunately, for families like ours. We shouldn't have to plead our case. And I work really close with our business development managers at Disney. I have a really great relationship with them to go over how we can be, or they, because I don't specifically work for Disney anymore, but how they can be more accommodating. So the process is you basically have a Zoom call with them. And they're going to ask you how and why your child cannot wait in line for an extended period of time. And, what kind of services they get outside of theme parks, what might a meltdown look like for you. They ask very specific questions. And they make a decision pretty quickly whether you qualify or not, and then the qualification period is good for the duration of your ticket. So you don't have to, get it qualified every single day. It's good for the duration of your ticket. But it is an amazing service. It's all done through their app. And you get to pre-select the ride that you want to go on, and it gives you a return time. There are 2 separate lines at the attraction, a regular standby line and then a lightning lane. You get to go through the lightning lane, which is super helpful. We've never waited more than 15 minutes. We're pass holders, so we do it often. But the process is scary because you feel like you're pleading your case to an amusement park. And it kind of stinks, but it happens. The best thing that you can do, though, before you have your call, because while you're on that call, it's a little intimidating. The cast members are fantastic, and they're just doing their job. But what's really, really helpful is to write down everything before you have your phone call, because you don't want to forget. I was on the phone call, and Tristan's been approved with the new system twice now. And they actually just extended the days, because it used to be, gosh, I don't remember how long it was good for. I think it was like 60 or 90 days, and now they upped it to 2 or 40 days. But anyways, it's a really great system for families like ours. It has its quirks in the beginning getting approved, but I think you guys will be fine. But like I said, the best thing to do is to just go in there with that list as a team. Don't be afraid to tell them everything. you know, don't be afraid to tell them everything, even worst case scenarios.
That's what they really,
Yeah,
don't sugarcoat it. Like,
Yeah.
I just did
Because
one
it-
2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
yeah.
For
Because
like
if you,
6
if you tell them, well, I don't really know how he would do, then they would be like,
It's okay to give
Oh,
them,
why don't you find it?
give them the
Yeah.
worst case
Yeah.
scenario and how it affects other people too, not just
your
your
family.
child, because they are concerned about how it may affect other people waiting in line.
Sure.
Or their cast members. So just make sure that you have that list of reasons
They
why.
don't ask like Sydney's diagnosis.
No.
No, they're not allowed
They
to.
don't even want you to actually mention the diagnosis.
Yeah, I find that crazy,
Yeah.
like that they don't care about a diagnosis.
I think it's not that they don't care, I don't think they're allowed to ask you that.
But if you tell them
Yeah.
that
Oh,
your
I-
child has a diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder,
Yeah.
Down syndrome, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
does that help your case, or do they not care? They're just focused.
I think they're more focused on the reason why your child can't wait in line for an extended period of time. However, I feel like if you start, they tell me all the time, like, we don't need to know, but I'm still gonna tell you.
Yeah.
That's my decision, and I'm gonna tell you, and then your reasons why kind of lead into the
Yeah.
diagnosis, and then they kind of get it more too, but it's like that at every theme park. Even Universal, they work with the IBCCES with the special assistance cards, and you actually have to try and get that ahead of time as a special card that you get from the IBCCES that works with certain theme parks. And even on that card, your diagnosis is on that card, and you have to give it to Universal when you apply for that pass. But Universal asks you not to disclose the diagnosis. It's like, well, it's on the card, and I have to get the card in order to apply. So it's kind of a toss-up. Lisa, it's so fun. Lisa's one of my clients.
December, I'm very excited. I was wondering for that, besides just the waiting in line, are there other things that they could possibly do? Like right now, Emily is big into fish. Like you go to the zoo, she wants to see the fish. And she wants to be like right up in the window where the fish are. So I'm thinking like in Epcot, they have the one restaurant we're considering trying to go with her, it's like Coral Reef. And I've set the tables already, we got set up somewhere. If not, would there be a way with that to maybe ensure that we get a table next so that she's not running across some other family to try
You
to
can
get
request it. Yeah, so when I do your dining, when I do your dining, action can actually request it. It's not guaranteed, but the best thing to do when you get there is to just let the cast member at the podium know when you check in that this is what you're requesting. They might tell you that it might be a little bit longer of a wait, but they are very accommodating about that, especially if you let them know about those things. Yeah.
I looked into the Jamaica resorts that you talked
Beaches.
about. Yeah, beaches.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to get your kind of recommendation because they all seem great.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know what
Which
were
one
some
was
pros
best?
of, yeah, what were the pros and cons
Negril.
of each?
Negril is the best.
Negril is the best one.
Negril is the best. Ocho Rios needs some refurbishing.
And what, I'm sorry?
Ocho Rios, it needs some refurbishing, definitely.
Is Negril close to the airport?
Both of them are far away. I believe Ocho Rios is 2 hours and Negril is an hour and like 35 minutes. So they're both not very close to the airport. Turks and Caicos is only 10 minutes away from the airport. But Negril is absolutely stunning. It is stunning. It's one of the best spots to also go snorkeling and scuba diving. But what's really great about Negril for the beach specifically is the water is just so calm there. I don't know what it is about that channel, but it's just very calm there. So the kids, you feel a little bit safer about the kiddos playing in the water, and the waves and stuff. It's just really calm. So yeah.
Is the airport, that's a little bit far, I wasn't expecting it to be so far away.
Yeah.
Are you able to take a break like on the way there with the driver if you need it, or is it just a straight ride?
So it depends on if there's other families with you.
Oh.
If you're the only family, then you could definitely ask your driver if you can take a stop. Especially if you're traveling with a child on the spectrum, most of the time those drivers know ahead of time because you can make notes when you book. You can actually make a note letting them know. And then when you put in your airline information, it kind of books your transportation because that is included in your stay, and so that'll alert the drivers as well. But you should also look into Club Mo Bay, which is at the Jamaican Airport, Sangster International Airport. It's called Club Mo Bay, and it is a service that you pay for with like a VIP lounge and everything. It's very quiet. If you pay for the arrival and the departure, for the arrival, they will actually expedite you through customs, so you don't have to wait in that super long customs ride or line. And then on the departure, you have that lounge access for the few hours before you take off, which is really helpful too. Just a little tidbit.
Oh, thank you. Last question. Car seats, do we have to like bring our own?
You don't. No, it's a shuttle, and they can provide car seats for you. It's complimentary. That's included with your booking. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Okay, so my question is, do you have any tips for the trade for cruises? We have experience, or maybe not really, but we have experience on our last cruise, the waiting in line for daycare, just like most people on the section of the waiting line is not right into the way. By the time we get there, he didn't want to go in, and they won't take him in, and he's not willing to go in. So after waiting in that long line, was hopeless because we couldn't even go in.
Right. Which cruise line did you use?
The last cruise line we went on was called MSC.
Yeah.
We were thinking of trying Disney if we are fortunate enough to do so.
Right. Yeah, so the best thing you can do with that, honestly, is just talk to guest services as soon as you board and let them know what your situation is and the accommodations that you're hoping for, but also finding out those different time frames to where there's not going to be a long line, right? Because maybe you went at a peak time of the day, but then also speaking to the counselors at the club and asking them how to go about it. I personally haven't worked with MSC. The biggest cruise lines that I work with is Royal Caribbean and Disney. And we've always just had talks with the counselors. And so there's specific ones throughout the cruise sailings that work that check-in process when the kids are getting checked in for the kids camp. And so they might be able to have a conversation with you and just say like, come see me when it's time and we'll come over to this location and get your child checked in so we're not having to wait in line for an extended period of time. But also something that's helpful is if you're traveling with another adult, if the adult can wait in line and then call you over when it's time for your child to be checked in, if for some reason like MSC wasn't able to accommodate you or something.
So Disney cruise will try to have these check-in.
They're amazing. They really are. I know that people get tired of me talking about Disney and beaches all the time, but I'm 4 years now into my travel business. And like I said, I quit my teaching job to do this full time. And Disney and beaches are absolutely amazing with accommodations and just being understanding, and our staff is fantastic. And they really, really do try to do whatever they can to make sure that you're enjoying your time while also being safe.
So is it better to request it when we try to book it, or wait until we get there?
All of it. All of it. I do all of it. I work really close with the special services team, so you can look them up as well, and you can email them and let them know your date of sailing and about your child. I like to send a picture of Tristan, although I'm not gonna lie, we've been on all the ships already multiple times, so they know who Tristan is. And so, yeah, you want to do that special services request and then also ask for that information online or in person.
Okay. And so we will have that to for us to go through.
Yeah, with the special services request team.
Special service. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, I have been told to wrap it up. So thanks so much for coming in here. I hope that you learned something new. I always feel like I'm not able to give you tons of as much information as my brain can hold. But feel free to contact me, email me with any questions. If you want to book a vacation, I would absolutely love and be more than honored to help you guys. So yeah, and if you have any questions, I'll be out there if you want to chat. Thank you.
7. Yeah.